What's up, nerds, and welcome back to Talk Nerdy to Me with Andy and.
Well, shabby.
So, today actually is a very special episode. We've got some guests joining us today. Ta-da! Yes, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to say their names, so just wait a while.
Sam and guests.
We're going to talk about an upcoming film that's about to hit the cinemas. Of course, it's an upcoming film, right? It's Karate Kid. We've got, of course, James De Los Santos, gold medalist, by the way.
Multiple times.
Yeah,
If I-
37 to be exact. Okay, we're counting numbers here. Okay, 37 gold medals for this guy. So definitely when we talk about martial arts, he's going to pour his heart and soul, of course, in terms of like the expertise in that subject. But also we've got Captain Kirk, who beamed down from the Enterprise to join us today, also to talk about Karate Kid. So anyway, guys, you have the floor. If you want to go and introduce yourself to the nerds.
Hello, everybody. My name is James De Los Santos. So, to give a little background on myself, I'm a karate practitioner, and I've started karate since 2003. But then, fast forwarding a little bit, I was drafted to the national team back in 2008, and I've already competed in several international tournaments, such as the SEA Games, the Asian Games. But then, I retired in 2019, and so now I am focusing more on teaching. And this was actually something that Kirk and I were talking about sometime last year. He was like talking about the upcoming Karate Kid Legends movie, and then he was like saying, "Hey, you know what, man? What if you got involved with the film and all this and that?" And I was like, this is probably just some wishful thinking, and here we are now. Like, it's actually happening, and it's actually a very huge honor to be a part of this project, that because we are also working together with Columbia to promote the upcoming Karate Kid Legends movie, which is going to be in theaters nationwide this May 28th. So, guys, hopefully I will see you all of there. Yes.
I think he's gonna perform before the actual movie starts.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Putting
It'll
him
be
on the
fun.
spot.
Well, just a bit about me. My name is Captain Kirk in social media, but I'm Kirk Allen. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm actually managing James on behalf of SMAI and himself. So, a better background about me. I guess some of you guys might know me as the founder of the Pokeverse, the Pokemon themed event that we held last year. I worked in a couple of different projects all over the world, but the biggest one that we're working on right now currently is to promote the Karate Kid movie. And yeah, just to be clear, we're not in the movie. We're not saying that we wish we were. Or
Maybe the next one.
Maybe we're an extra.
Who knows?
I think people need to find us, actually.
Yeah. I just
They have to
wishful
watch
thinking.
it. Like, whoever finds us, maybe we give them a free gift.
Who knows? Yeah.
Because it's Captain Kirk, so it's extraterrestrial.
Hey.
Come in peace.
So I think my first question would be, do you have like a special connection with this movie?
Well, I've been a fan of the Karate Kid franchise since I was a kid. It was actually one of my late uncles who was into karate, and he introduced me to the Karate Kid franchise. And I would say that, yeah, being that I'm also a karate practitioner, it really does, like, I've seen some, like, in the movies, I've seen parts where Daniel LaRusso was performing kata, just parts of it, and I'm kind of like, okay, I know what kata that he was doing, so it was like I could relate to it more, being that I am a karate practitioner, and then it just sort of grew on me also. But then, and then what's this? Then here comes now the new Karate Kid movie, which is Karate Kid Legends. It's like there's a because back in 2010 there was the other Karate Kid movie, but it was actually more about kung fu.
Yeah.
But then now it's like we all thought that it was just a reboot of the movie. But then now, since here comes Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han coming together, now it makes more sense that the Karate Kid movie produced in 2010, it's now canon to the what you call the Miyagi verse, basically. So then, yeah, it's like
Wax scene.
wax out,
Wax
or,
out.
and then they got the jacket on, jacket off thing. So
Okay, so I was about to ask you something because we were actually talking about okay, how do we introduce you? So kind of stalked him a bit. So
You do our research.
yeah,
Not
thank you
stalking. It's
Wikipedia.
research. It's prep.
It's preparation, yeah. So karate isn't or wasn't really your first choice in terms of like sports, right? You were into football, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't like karate in the beginning. It was something I actually dreaded. But
There you
then,
go.
yeah, it was. I would say that the first sport that I played in was football, because I also used to watch like especially I would always keep up with the FIFA World Cup, which happens
Yeah.
every 4 years. But then it was more of like because the reason why I started karate was because I was a victim of bullying, and it was one of my late uncles that influenced my dad that I take karate up for to learn mostly for self defense. But then I thought my first sensei was really hard, especially with his basics training. So it was like every time my dad would wake me up every week, he's like, get up, you have karate. And I'm like, it was something that I would like, the weekends was something I would always
Yeah.
dread, to be honest. Like it did come to a point where I wanted to quit, surprisingly. And then, but it just so happened when the Southeast Asian Games back in 2005, it was hosted here in the Philippines. And it just so happened that the karate event was hosted in Cebu. And then my sensei convinced my parents that why don't I watch the karate event to see what, to see what I really think about it. And then, but the reason also why I decided to watch the SEA Games was so I can skip school. So yeah, but then
Check out the event, see what happens.
yeah,
You should like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Get the
much.
tone, right?
Yeah, like. But then, oh, sorry, and then, that slipped there. But then, what's this? Yeah, like I basically went to the event, and then I saw like the national team players from the other Southeast Asian countries competing or like warming up, and then I saw the national team of the Philippines back then. Like when I saw them compete, and I was kind of like just watching. It was so exciting, especially like when. Like when we were trying to figure out like who was the winner and all that, it was really action packed. And then I was thinking to myself, like all of a sudden that spark happened. I was like thinking, maybe karate is meant for me. And so then I decided from there that karate is the main sport that I will go after. So I quit all my other sports aside and just really focus there, because I did tell myself that I wanted to represent the national team one day, and then maybe, who knows, somewhere down the road, compete in the Southeast Asian Games as well. And then fast forwarding, I would say around 6 years later, I became the representative for the kata division, and I played in my first SEA Games in Indonesia. So I was like, oh wow,
Wow.
this is
Yeah.
this is like at that moment, it was like something that I had to sink it in. Basically, I was like, wow, is this for real? Am I really gonna compete in the Southeast Asian Games? So I was like, man, wow, it's exciting. Like, and then yeah, it's like going back going back to Karate Kid. Also, it's like it made me appreciate the movie even more. Like, it's like as I mentioned earlier, I was able to recognize certain parts of kata that Daniel LaRusso was practicing. I mean, it was like very. It was just like very. How do I say this, man? I'm lost. Basically, basically lost on how
You're
I'm supposed to
basically
describe it.
lost in the Miyagi
Miyagi-verse.
verse.
Yeah,
The
in
Miyagi verse.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm basically just lost in there. Again, it just made me appreciate the Karate Kid franchise even more. Like, especially also now that they're coming up with a new movie, it's something like I can really strongly relate to, because I've been a Shotokan karate practitioner for like more than 2 decades already.
So now, I mean, listening to your story, I do understand why this movie somehow resonates with you, just because of the fact that you experienced being bullied as a kid, and that's basically the main plot of it.
Recurring theme
Self-discovery and like being strong for yourself and standing up for yourself. But you did have an experience with karate.
Well,
Do we dare
let's hear
talk
it.
about this
Let's hear
experience
it.
here?
I think it's the same thing for most people who's trying to get into martial arts, right? because you see something in movies, right? I think for me, as I mentioned before, like I think the first iteration of some sort of martial art or fighting that most people would agree to see is the Power Rangers, right?
Oh yeah.
So, you want to be a Power Ranger, you want to be a hero, right? And eventually, as we get older, then you have all these movies coming about. I'm sure people who are much younger, maybe who don't understand the VHS days, I guess. So,
You
when
don't
I,
have the red
yeah,
sports car that rewinds the video.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that shows age right
Oh
there.
my gosh,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, for me, it was, yeah, I mean, I was studying in LaSalle Green Hills. So that's where I grew up. And my first class in karate, my sensei basically told me to put my leg all the way up to literally like my neck.
Sample. No,
I was like,
we don't have
I'm
HMO
like, no,
coverage for
my
that.
gosh. Well, I'm sure they just wanted to test the flexibility, but if you're a young kid and you're trying to force your leg to go up that way, well, it's part of the stretch,
Yeah.
and I quit after that. But years later, I worked in well, I started working into boxing, so that was a sport that I really got into just for fitness. And about a year ago, I was studying Arnis with some of the martial arts masters in Luneta Park. So when I heard about the movie coming out, I said, it'll be an interesting thing that there's like it might be Karate Kid on the title, but it's actually I feel like there's more to it. That it's a representation of different martial arts, different disciplines, and there's different, I guess, running themes beyond it. And I think that's really what resonates with a lot of people with the movie. Because even though I'm not, maybe some of us are not martial artists, but we can relate the bullying, the discipline, and maybe the expectations that you get from family. So it's a running thing, and I think that doesn't age.
One line from the trailer kind of touches on that. One tree, two branches, one tree, something
Yeah.
like that. And it's something nice because as a person who followed the franchise in every iteration, because the first one was shown in 1984. I wasn't born yet, just so you know. So you know, the next one was
Noted with
1986,
thanks.
right? 1986 was the second one, and then another one came out, I think, 1989. So that was way, way back. But a lot of the principles are the same. But then, when the one with Jackie Chan came out, as you said, it wasn't really karate; it was kung fu. And now they're bringing those two things together with Karate Kid Legends. So you have the main character being mentored not by one sensei but
But
two
two.
sensei.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But how do you take that as someone who learned the discipline? Does it really happen? Like you have two masters at the same time?
Well, because actually, especially now that we have mixed martial arts, basically, so I don't see a problem. Like, let's say when you've been practicing one martial art for several years and then trying to learn another one, I don't think there's any problem with that. I mean, I've had also. I remember back when I went to Cebu during Christmas break, I studied a little bit of kickboxing and Muay Thai as well. So, I mean, it's always good to learn from different martial arts because they may have like every martial art has its advantages. It also has its disadvantages, and I would say that this is where mixed martial arts comes in. Instead of just like learning how to defend yourself with one, why not also have two or three? And then just basically combine and basically mix, like form your own style of self-defense or fighting. There are even some martial arts that involve weaponry, like Arnis, for
Arnis,
example. So like I've been told especially by some senseis, that like let's say if you want to learn on like let's say right now I'm doing karate. It's a very versatile stand-up martial art because it has all sorts of techniques like punching, kicking, blocking, even elbow strikes, takedowns. But then when I took up kickboxing, I also learned that kickboxing is good for like close combat. And then I also asked my sensei, what if like let's say you want to learn weapons and all that, and then he said that's where Arnis can also come in if you decide you want to learn with weapons. So yeah, I would say, like when people would always ask me, do is it advisable to get started with MMA in the very beginning? I tell them it's best you learn one martial art first, so that
Yeah.
yeah, master that one martial art or gain skill, or like when you reach your black belt, then that's the time you can try out another style of martial art, and then just incorporate it together, and then create your own fighting style.
Which is exactly, I think, what we could get from the trailer, right? Because the main character already has his foundation on kung fu, and then you have karate stepping in.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
I mean,
Okay,
the
so
key
it
part.
applies in real life.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a key part in the movie where they were showing the chi punch, right?
Yeah, the
And-
one inch
Oh.
bang,
The
like
1 inch
that.
punch.
I call it the
or-
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee punch, boom.
Yeah, so that's for people who are younger, they don't understand the value of that because I'm sure when YouTube came out and
Yeah.
you started like especially for people who are into martial arts, that's probably the only time you can see Bruce Lee, right? And see like these old videos, maybe even old films because when I was younger, I was watching all the Bruce Lee films with my dad and to see him just punch someone like halfway through the room with just 1 inch and they're gonna show it on the movie as well just as a callback to him, I guess. It's like martial arts speaks generations, I think, and as it moves into the next generation, the next generation adds their own fighting style, right? And I think Bruce Lee was probably the best example of someone taking different disciplines and putting it all in one well sequence or one art, right? And yeah, I think I don't know if you watch the history of Bruce Lee. There's like a
Bruce Lee
Chinese
story.
yeah, the Bruce Lee
the
story.
Yeah, I watched that with my dad.
50,
Nice.
it was like 50 episodes or something. You
Yeah.
guys could watch it.
You should
Find it
watch it.
online. It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like over the time, I think I have a question for James actually. Like, is there like a age limit that people could actually get into martial arts?
Actually, I've been asked this question a lot. Actually,
In terms of flexibility.
yeah, that's another one. That's another question I've been asked so many times. Like, do you have to be flexible when you want to take up karate or any other type of martial art? So the answer to the first question, like, can anybody like at any age start martial arts? Of course you can. Like, for me, martial arts doesn't, because a lot of people think that martial arts is all about going out there and picking a fight. Well, no, that's not the whole point, because it's not just karate, but every martial art teaches to use it only for defensive purposes. Never use martial arts to hurt other people or to instigate any type of altercation, because the whole point of martial arts is to don't start wars, but create peace, not just with others, but also yourself. So that's really the whole, that's the whole concept of it. And, for me, like, going back again to that question, like, can anybody start at any age? Yes, they can. I mean, I've taught, the youngest I've ever taught was 4 years old, and the oldest I've ever taught was 55.
Whoa.
So basically, like, well, I mean, like, let's say, okay, if you do want to take a martial arts seriously, you want to go on elite level, then yeah, okay, there is a certain age on when you should start it. But I mean, martial arts doesn't just have to be all about that, like, becoming competitive. You can also use it to learn self-defense. You can also, actually, karate is also a very good workout for cardio, because it basically works out every part of your body. So that's something that, like, the adults can get into, because usually with kids, they become very competitive. Then okay, I can teach them to become competitive, especially when in regards to tournaments, winning medals or trophies. But for most adults, they want to learn how to defend themselves, or they just want to stay in shape. So
Yeah.
either way, martial arts can come into that. And what was the other question? Do you have to be flexible with karate or with martial arts? Not necessarily, but it does help if you are. But then again, I mean, it does help, but you don't need to necessarily be flexible from the beginning. I mean, you can as you learn martial arts, you can also learn how to be flexible along the way. So yeah.
So I guess the disclaimer would be over here: practice at your own risk,
At your own pace.
at your own pace.
But
Nice.
one more
Yeah.
thing I would want to agree on is it's not just like for self defense or for working out, like a physical workout. I think a huge chunk of martial arts is like grounding yourself, being able to control your emotion, control even breathing. I've been to therapy with anxiety and stuff, and a lot of the breathing principles also apply to a
Yeah.
lot of the martial arts and sports too. So that's also something that you could
Yep.
it could be the reason to try and learn it.
Well, yeah, because what's this? Usually, when I end classes with my students, we would kneel down and then just close our eyes and meditate, like reflect, not just like with yourself, like try to do like like a spiritual examination on yourself or yeah, like an examination on your conscience, basically. That we use that time to really reflect, or sometimes we ask ourselves, okay, our training to date was good, but how can we make it better? Or maybe training wasn't great today, but I want to try to find ways to make it better tomorrow or to really improve on my
Yeah.
skill. It's because in all my years in karate, I've also learned values and principles, basically, and what I'm trying to do is also pass this on to my students, and I always tell them that you don't just apply these lessons or these principles during training in the dojo. You should also apply it in all aspects of your life. Because that's, I also teach my students to build good character. Because at the end of the day, like when I evaluate my students, character is really the most important. What good is having all these skills or being a champion if you don't have character? That's why I always tell my students, like especially when they always ask me, "Oh, when am I gonna get promoted to the next rank?" Like I always tell them that again, practice your basics, your kata, your kumite or sparring, but I will also be looking into things that are not during the exam day. I also look at your character. That's part of your exam, basically.
And I think that's a huge part of what was shown in the Karate Kid franchise. How it's not all about the training or the physical stuff that they do. Like Mr. Miyagi was more than a martial arts sensei for Daniel LaRusso, and it was shown how he helped him grow to be the man that he is today, and the sensei that he's gonna be and he's gonna show in the upcoming movie. But there's a line in the trailer where Jackie Chan said that the kid is who Daniel was to Mr. Miyagi, right? How does that
Translate.
translate to you guys?
I mean, I can add to that, but just to add also what James said, I think for martial arts, right, the discipline part after meeting a number of masters in different aspects of not just karate. I met some people from Arnis, Taekwondo, and Jiu-Jitsu, and everywhere is you'll see discipline, but the commitment within that discipline is just so inspiring. Just to add to this, an example is my grandmaster. His name is Grandmaster Dagook. He's an Arnisador. And Arnis is our national sport here in the Philippines. And the guy is like 77. And he
Wow.
travels, like, just to tell you guys, he travels from Batangas to Luneta Park every Sunday. Like every Sunday at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, gets there like at 4 in the morning or 5, and then trains people in the park at about 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And then goes back.
and goes back home. So traveling like almost 4 or 5 hours just to teach people in a park for 100 pesos. And, he's not doing it for the money, he's doing it for the art. And the thousands of students that came from that one guy who was committed to becoming who they are, it's just wild. And when I met a couple of the people there, you'd be surprised. Some of them were lawyers, some of them were accountants, some of them were just basic truck drivers or the kuya that's just delivering your food. But this is why there's no uh, there's no barrier. I think that the martial arts in general, especially with this movie, like, come on, they've been running Karate Kid for all these years,
40 years.
40 years, right? Like more than our age. And they're leaving this legacy that for the next generation as well. Like, what if, like, the amount of effort and discipline to do for all these years, especially for you guys, you have all your achievements, but I think the biggest achievement is staying committed, especially to your craft. And that goes in any, uh, you know, discipline from social media to and all that. Yeah.
So why do you think this franchise has remained so iconic for so many generations?
I was actually reading a book about this, right? I don't think many people know about this man named Jerry Weintraub, right? He's the producer for The Karate Kid for the first one, and he was also the producer for the many of the next generations. He did Ocean's 11, 12, 13, a number of legendary stuff. He was managing uh, Elvis Presley. He was actually the manager of Frank Sinatra. So this guy, you don't know who he is, but there's a book that you guys can listen to. His book's title is called "You'll Know When I Stop Talking, You'll Know I'm Dead." Really good audiobook. Really good. It's a lesson really on how to get from nothing to something, right? From zero, from broke to becoming really successful, and his story is absolutely inspiring. So, I think from that point of view, number one, I think it starts with the people behind the scenes. What the message that they're trying to deliver? Are they trying to produce a movie that's just for making money, right? So what do? Throw in some celebrities, big names. We've seen that for many years. But sometimes they're a huge flop. But then for us as fans, I think the heart and core of the story always remains the same. Like, there's parts of discipline, as we said. There's parts of you know fighting over the adversity. I think it's the hero's journey. It's the classic hero's journey. And for some of us, it could be like an example. Another one could be Rocky Balboa,
Yeah.
right? With Rocky Balboa, Creed. Um, so yeah, I think I think that never gets old.
I think also that even because I can also see, like, based on the trailers of the new Karate Kid Legends movie, it's basically the same. It's also the same story setting where he's a new kid trying to make friends, and all of a sudden encounters a bully, and then tries to find ways to really redeem himself, and then he joins a competition, and then wins the tournament. So this is what I'm also seeing in what's this? This is what I'm gonna be seeing in the new Karate Kid Legends, but the difference is the new Karate Kid has a background in martial arts. So this will actually be an interesting take, because as in the previous Karate Kid franchise, what's this? So Daniel LaRusso basically had no
Yeah.
background in martial arts. Just like with everybody, just like with anyone else, like they would start out with not knowing anything, and then they just meet someone down the road who actually really is a huge influence and a big inspiration, or plays a really huge role in their life, especially in the movie. And it's something that can also happen in real life. Like, everybody always has everyone always has that someone behind them that pushes them to become great. And it's something that I know that it's called karate, maybe Karate Kid. People are thinking that, only people who practice karate can,
karate.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
can
can relate to this. But then it's actually the concept of that, having somebody or many people, like, pushing you to become great. That's something everybody can relate to, and I think that's what makes the Karate Kid franchise so iconic. Like, even after how many years, everybody still knows Karate Kid. It's basically the whole concept of it and how it can be applied in one's daily life. I think that's what also makes it truly iconic.
Oh yeah, and just to add as well, that Cobra Kai really just helped this to
Yep.
just cement this whole thing, right?
It did.
Yeah. But also it's more of like rooting for the underdog.
Yeah.
But it's not just out of sheer luck that you get your success story. It's showing how waxing on and waxing off for multiple times. The gritty, hard part of it is something you also have to like deal with. And that's the beauty of it. And how an underdog gets the power that they need and also manages to use it in the best possible way and not out for revenge or to escalate the fight, but to be able to handle it better than the bullies did. So that's the beauty of Miyagi-Do karate. It's not that I'm part of the dojo, but yeah, it's the recurring theme that you're not just out there proving that you're stronger, but you're proving that you know which fights to pick
Take
and take
Yeah.
and which fights
to avoid.
are not worth your time. So, well, that's a recurring theme, Rin, in adulthood because the Karate Kid fans are adults now, and we have back pains and salon pass every morning. But but it's just wonderful to see that it's bound to touch a new generation. That's the hope of it. Like for me. You guys don't know, but I'm such a huge nerd about Karate Kid, which is why I memorize all the years. And also, may babaeng Karate Kid, if you don't know.
Yep.
Before Hilary Swank was the $1 million baby,
Yep.
she was the first Karate Kid.
Oh,
like,
it's not.
As a
no.
yeah,
the girl.
the first female karate kid. Yeah.
Me
Dropping
is a nerd.
bombs.
So, okay, talking about that, I would love to see her in some form or a cameo. So,
Everybody
kayo,
wanted.
what about you guys? Ano yung was your dream cameo or something with
No,
the movie?
Because actually, that's actually what I've always hoped because this I've already seen the rest of the recurring characters, but it's just her though. It's just Hilary Swank. I was like, it's like okay, will she make a cameo in the upcoming Karate
Julia,
Kid
right?
Legends? Yeah, that's why Julia. It's kind of like
She became a Tekken character anyway.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good enough.
But who was the antagonist for? This is Jaden Smith's version of Karate Kid.
Cheng, or
Yeah.
the one who was portrayed by Zach Wang, who's
Yeah.
actually kind of, he's already picking up, what's this? He's
Attraction,
yeah, he's
right?
picking up attraction basically. So like, I think it all just started with him creating content about Shaolin Kung Fu. He's also creating tutorials, and yeah, that's how he started to grow. Because I think after that, the Karate Kid movie, the one with Jaden Smith, it's like it was all forgotten basically. And then now here's Zach
Yeah.
Wang coming out of nowhere on social media. It's like wow, he's already, I think he's already reached 1 million followers on all his social media
The hype is
platforms.
real, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, he did that collab with iShow Speed
Oh,
in
yeah.
China. So I think that really helped. And the movie's coming out too. I mean,
yeah.
for me, I think that Cheng, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to have him
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be the hero. You want the hero to come back, but like I think an anti-hero that helps. The main character would be Spicy.
Yeah,
You know?
that is true.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. Like, look, the Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai coming back.
Kreese.
Yeah.
John Kreese. But then it helps Daniel. So, something like that, like something unexpected, a twist. But I think what they're trying to do for the movie is they're trying to pass the baton for the next generation. So it's because it's always been, Daniel LaRusso coming out or
Yeah.
a little bit of this,
Yeah.
but I think they're trying to move it to okay, here's the next gen, here's some new characters, maybe one or two will come back, but they're trying to build on maybe a wider verse. But I think the thing that they're really lacking is I really wish they did Karate Kid in other countries as well, because they did
Yeah.
China, right, and they did America, then they came back to America again. So
Yeah.
it would be nice to see a Karate Kid traveling around the world, learning martial arts, and getting disciplined by other masters. That would be cool, like something traveling.
It's gonna be like an anime thing where you
yeah.
collect different belts from different countries. Like
Yeah.
You heard this first.
maybe
Talk dirty to me.
Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Go to Korea. Korea is a huge entertainment spot. Like maybe guys, Colombia. Maybe the next one. Go to Korea, learn Taekwondo,
Or
the
Philippines.
Philippines.
Yeah, or the
Maybe
Philippines. Yeah.
maybe we can even focus on his story. Maybe even have our own Karate Kid PH version.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh,
basically
that's-
the same plot, you know.
Yeah, wishful
Batang
thinking.
karate.
Oh, batang karate.
We need budget. We need budget.
Oh yeah.
Pero direct Coco.
I feel like we do need to have a Karate Kid version in the Philippines. But as I was telling the Columbia Pictures team, there's a gap in the market right now for an opportunity to have our own Filipino Arnis movie based off of Karate Kid, but potentially could be in the same universe. Never know.
Might be.
But like, yeah, I mean, that's really the excitement here because it's a story. Anyone can just add their own guesses.
Yeah.
But we like to follow. But I think I have a question for you guys. What do you prefer? Do you want to watch the film, or do you prefer streaming like episodes on as a series?
Well, actually, because to me, it's like when you're watching in the cinema, it's just it's a different feeling
Yeah.
Yeah.
from streaming. It's like, especially because me, I've kind of like, I'm really into sound quality, especially like when you hear the sound in the cinema. It's like it's a whole different experience compared to streaming. That's why it's like I'm actually glad that Karate Kid Legends came out, you know, for the cinemas rather than streaming, because it's a whole different experience. It's like, especially like, because when you're streaming, you're basically just like watching it alone most of the time. That's just from my aspect or from my perspective. But when you're watching in the theater, it's like you're watching with a lot of people, or you can even watch with a huge group of friends, and then you'll be like, oh wow, this is amazing.
Is the energy, right?
Yeah, it's
Like
the energy.
Definitely. For me, it's like going to church. Like I can download a podcast and listen to a motivational speaker or listen to like worship songs or whatever.
yeah.
But going physically to a church where everyone is there focused on one thing, that's the synergy that is magical for me. That's why I like going to the cinema still. But it's better if you're with the crowd because you could hear the collective gasps, the screams.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of energy that you bring home to you. And one more thing, because we are living in the TikTok generation, I would admit a big part of why I enjoy watching some cinemas is no distractions for myself. Because I do find myself getting lost when I hear a notification bell on cue or something like that. But when I'm in the cinemas, because I'm forced to focus, I get the full experience of it. I don't miss a thing. So, yeah, that's my answer. What about you?
What?
She likes her streams.
Streaming.
Streaming or cinemas.
Okay, again, pretty much just like the same with you guys. It's a different feeling when you are watching something in the cinemas and then you watching at home, being a couch potato and just like, like being comfortable with your remote control and watching TV. I think there are some shows that I prefer to be in series form, and there are other, films that I want to watch in the cinema. With like what you said, more on the audio thing or audio space.
Yeah. So, in lieu of that, we're going to talk about a special event that's coming up, right?
Yes.
Oh,
So
yes.
we're gonna be just officially on this podcast. We're gonna be doing a private advanced screening with Ayala and Columbia Pictures, with very limited seats. And Coach Abby and Red Queen Andy is gonna be joining us as hosts for that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Sino ba yun?
Coach ng ano yun?
She's gonna be our martial arts coach for the day, and she will be our caster for the day.
Yeah.
That is correct.
My tournament, guys.
So we're gonna have like some a few different martial artists just doing a few performances before the film. So something that's special for this advanced screening, as well as like I guess handpicked students from the community that's gonna be joining us, and of course we're gonna be giving away maybe a few tickets. We'll announce in a few days, so hopefully you guys can join us. Yeah, I think it'll be crazy. It'll be but the thing that makes this different, we've asked our guests, is if you're studying a martial arts, why don't you come and join us wearing your uniform, your gi? And
Yeah.
if you're a karate student, why not wear your gi in the film? Or if you're a
Yep.
arnisador or taekwondo or jiu-jitsu, this is the best time for you to cosplay your own
Yep.
It's
right?
cosplay, but not cosplay.
Cosplay or not cosplay.
You get a special prize from Captain Kirk.
Yeah. And something like this has never been done before, guys. So this is going to be history, basically. So if you want to be a part of it, then come join us.
Yeah, watch the podcast, follow these lovely people.
And we'll put the links to the announcements and the graphics too in the comment section or in the description box or wherever. So wherever you're watching.
But
it.
before we end it, where can they find you guys?
Yeah.
I'm very active on social media as well. I'm very active on TikTok, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube. Those 4 platforms. It's James De Los Santos. You can find me there.
Be careful to be not to be rickrolled. Just a disclaimer.
This guy is a serial Rick roller.
Deadliest self-defense
Yeah,
move.
it's a deadly memer.
Well, I came up with the ideas.
So it's you.
He's the culprit.
I'm the guy behind the chair. And for me, you can follow me at Captain Kirk, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, just follow our socials, and I guess yeah, see you guys in the film. Hope you're gonna enjoy the movie. The premiere launches on May 28th. Bring your family, bring your friends. I think it's gonna be a wild, and they have a really good soundtrack.
Oh,
know,
yeah, that's
Like it's not even out yet
You
publicly.
can't stop this.
Yeah, so it's called "You Can't Stop This"
By
it's a
Alex
good-
Warren.
Yeah, it's a good, really good tune. I think it's gonna be a really fun event. We're gonna create some content for you guys for the film, and yeah, tag us, share your experiences, and maybe you could be our Karate Kid, right?
Yeah,
why
that's
not?
right.
It's a draft, guys.
It's
We're not saying it, but we're casting.
So that's it, nerds. Thank you so much again for joining us. Again, thank you, James and Kirk, for gracing us with your presence today. So again, we'll see you guys on the next video.
Talk nerdy to me.